Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we announce the winner of our holiday giveaway and share how you can enter to win our New Year giveaway. We cover the latest Disney news and give our spoiler-free review of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. As always, we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick Abigail Breslin Kozicki.
I love her so much.
What's she up to these days?
Who can say?
She did Scream Queens, right? Didn't she? Or did she do another American
she?
Horror Story thing? I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
Little
Let's
Miss
find
Sunshine.
Out. I'll give her a call.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you know. Adam, New Year's baby Hummel. How are you?
Is that because I'm wearing a diaper?
It is, and I have a lot of questions, and that was the best way I could address it, was with some comedy.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Did you have a wonderful Christmas time?
I had a wonderful Christmas time.
Oh,
yes,
good.
I did. We rented a lovely little farmhouse in West Central Wisconsin.
Oh.
So charming.
Great.
And my family all just came together and cooked food and had drinks and went to bed at 5 p.m.
Well, that is just f***ing delightful, Adam. What a lovely, picturesque moment you had.
Yeah.
I ruined it with my words.
How was your Christmas?
It was great. We spent Christmas Eve with the Kozicki family, and we spent Christmas Day with the Newman family. Lots of food, lots of drinking, lots of screaming and shouting. It was just a great time. Just kidding. No. Everyone gets along. It was wonderful.
Okay, enough of that. Let's
Yeah.
talk about gifts. Did you
Yeah.
get any Disney gifts?
I did. I got that costuming book that I've had my eye on, the one about heroes, villains, and spaces between.
Yes.
That was featured at D23 this
Yes.
year. It's so beautiful, so heavy, and it's a weightlifter's art dream come true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover, with costuming and weightlifting.
Rarely do weightlifting and the art community collab, but they collabed on this book.
It's more common than you think.
Yep, okay.
So,
All right,
so
well.
here we are. The juxtaposition is wonderful. I'll let you look at it from afar.
Thank you.
Before you leave.
Thank you.
Don't touch the pages.
Not my greasy fingerprints all over those beautiful pages.
Any Disney gifts for you or from you?
No. My family does not exchange gifts.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so...
Memories, not merch.
That's right. So my Disney gift to myself was the trip that Matthew and I took a couple weeks ago.
Got it. I need things to enjoy my family.
I know, I get it.
I need gifts.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Why show up?
Not going to do it. Not going to do it this time, folks.
Well, now that Christmas has come to a close, it's time to move on to the next holiday.
Kick out Santa.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
2020.
2020, the year of Vision and Barbara Walters.
That's right.
Right?
This is 2020.
Oh, that's a good impression.
I'm surprised that meme hasn't popped up yet. Or
I'm
has
sure it has.
Is it gonna?
It must have.
It's gonna be all over Instagram in a couple days.
The New Year's Eve glasses are going to be epic this year with the 2020.
They're symmetrical.
They
this
are
year.
symmetrical.
So nice.
They're not a palindrome, but they are symmetrical.
What?
You know, when it's the same backwards and forwards. Isn't
Yep.
that a palindrome?
I think so.
Okay. My New Year's resolution is to learn more words and to use them accurately on the podcast.
That's great, though. New Year's resolutions, Patrick.
Yes.
Give me yours right now. What is your New Year's resolution or resolutions?
Oh, mine are going to be the generic ones. You know, I want better peace of mind, more mental health.
Yeah.
I've just been a mess this year.
Yeah.
Just a kicking and screaming mess. I just read the book, We Are the Weather. Mm-hmm. It's really fantastic. I recommend you all check it out. But it really recommends a no meat before dinner kind of a diet, in that it would, not to get too political, the theory behind it is that if we all could do that, then we could really shift climate change toward a better direction, because we wouldn't need as much factory farming, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But anyways, it's really inspired me to sort of get on that train and try it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Not go total vegetarian or total vegan, but just make some cutbacks. And of course, there's a lot of health benefits from doing that as well.
Absolutely.
So why not? Why not try it?
Yes.
And then cut back on my Disney spending, maybe?
No, wait,
Well,
what?
I have 3 trips booked already.
Yeah.
For the Run Disney Half Marathons.
Right.
So that ties in health.
It does tie
I
into
guess.
health.
So balance.
It's
So
a wash.
We've all We've come full circle with
It's
mental
symmetrical.
balance. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. What about you? Any resolutions for you?
Well, I'm right there with you on the needing to focus on mental and physical health train. In
Don't
fact,
we all?
That was my resolution last year.
Same.
And the year before that.
Yeah.
I think going back all the way to 1986.
Oh.
Yeah. So I really need to kind of focus on that because I am finding that it's starting to lag on me a little bit, right? Like it's just focusing on health overall.
Well, it's put a real strain on our relationship, Adam. I'll
Sure
tell you
has.
that much.
It sure has.
I haven't liked you in a while.
I need to hear that. Thank you.
Just kidding. I enjoy some of you.
Your ankles are exceptional.
That's all, and that's all, frankly. Well, we want to hear what your New Year's resolutions are, Tweedledees. Let us know if you have any maybe Disney-related resolutions or any resolutions, really. Just send them our way.
But particularly the Disney ones.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
Patrick. The other ones are trash.
Yeah.
I want to hear the Disney ones because I think there are ways you could incorporate resolutions into how you visit Disney, how you eat at Disney, how you experience Disney. Like, I think there could be some really interesting Disney New Year's resolutions.
I like that idea. How should they send us their 2020 Disney resolutions, Adam?
2020.
2020.
You can send us your 2020 Disney resolutions, or as Patrick said, just your resolutions in general, because those are important too, to our social media at GDTD Podcast.
And you can always leave us an email or a voice memo at info@gaysdothed.com.
Well, if one of your resolutions is to watch more #Disney Parks live broadcasts,
And I think that it might be.
sure, you're in luck because Disney Parks Live will be live broadcasting the Fantasy in the Sky New Year's Eve fireworks from Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom on December 31st at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time.
Ooh.
And you can access the live broadcast by visiting DisneyParksBlog.com.
Will you be watching this year?
Can I stay up that late? I mean, it's 10:45 here, right? Because of the time change.
Oh, it's true.
So even then, I will have been in bed for at least 3 hours.
I'll have had 16 to 17 Manhattans by then.
Right.
So I should be pretty well lubricated to watch this.
You'll be ready and raring to go.
And just screaming and crying at the same time.
Yes. Yes. But really, there's no better way to ring in the new year because those fireworks are out of control.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest fireworks show they do, maybe on par with the 4th of July. I'm not sure which one's bigger, but I believe the New Year's Eve fireworks in the Magic Kingdom are like 360
Yeah.
all around that park.
I wonder if Epcot's are going to be as epic as they usually are, knowing that they are in a transitional phase right now.
That's a great point, Patrick. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, a lot of the adults without children prefer to go to Epcot because they are, I don't want to say less Disney themed, but they're just a little bit more just like basic fireworks
Right.
to the 10th degree, though.
That's the only reason why the adults go to Epcot?
And maybe some adult beverages as well.
Oh, sure.
Here and there.
Yeah, just a sip.
I'll have to ask Ben and Amanda, since they're there, if they're going to go to Epcot or Magic Kingdom or none of the above and just drink at home.
Yeah, if they go to the parks, I want to hear about it. In fact, we should have them on to talk about that experience if they do, specifically because I think a lot of people would be really interested to hear what it's like in those crowded parks on New Year's Eve.
I've resolved not to let them in my home in 2020, so
There's another resolution to check.
we'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
They can call in, maybe. So even though we're looking forward in time to 2020, let's go back a week to our last episode, Adam, regarding celebrating holidays in the parks. We put a call out to our Tweedledees to let us know how they like to celebrate holidays in the parks, and we have a few listeners who wrote in and told us what they like to do in the parks for the holidays.
Fantastic.
So first up, we have Derek, who's on Instagram at Boy Who Has Everything. I'm going to sing it every time now. I can't not.
That's right, yeah.
I can't not. Derek says, a few holiday in the park faves, World of Color Season of Light at DCA, holiday parades, It's a Small World overlay,
Yes.
characters dressed up,
Sure.
Main Street USA decked,
Yes.
holiday merch, Christmas carolers, so basically everything. That's fair. That's fair. I love Main Street specifically during the holidays, even though I've only seen like week 1 of when they start to transition into the holidays. It's just so beautiful.
So pretty.
I love it. I love it.
I highly recommend checking it out during pouring down rain.
Yes, as we learned last week.
Not to be missed.
No.
Rob also wrote in. You can find Rob on Instagram at rbneil and at zippitydoodah-days. Rob says, I want to mention a dish that appeared at Disneyland this year that I really liked. It's called the Thanksmas Sandwich.
Oh, my.
Available at the Jolly Holiday Bakery. It's roast turkey, stuffing, gravy, and cranberry sauce on toasted rustic bread, and it's scrumptious. Not too heavy. It's served with really delicious chips, too. Also, although everyone knows about the holiday overlays on the Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World, there's one more attraction that gets really gussied up for Christmas, and that's Storybook Land canal boats. Most of the miniature houses get tiny Christmas decorations, and it's really lovely. The Dwarf's Cottage gets a Christmas tree, and there are even tiny wreaths on the lampposts in London Park. It must be quite an operation to do the decorating, and it's so very subtle, but I'm really happy that Disneyland makes the effort to do it.
That sounds incredible.
So cute.
I would not have the patience to hang all those wreaths on the lampposts. I get angry doing a puzzle. I'm just like, I can't. It's too much detail.
And how does that even happen? Are they like straddling a boat and then the park as well? Like, because everything's so tiny, you can't really step into London Park, or can you? Maybe, I don't know.
I'm sure you could reach it from the canal itself, right? So if you're just putting on wading boots, basically,
oh, okay,
and then just reach over and do
yeah,
that.
All right. Yeah, the canal's not that deep.
No, it's not. It's not a full-on ocean that we're traveling in.
They fooled me with the magic, okay, Patrick?
That's
I've been
fair.
fooled.
That is fair.
Well, thank you so much, Derek and Rob, for sending in your suggestions of ways to kind of plus your holiday experience while visiting the Disney parks.
Absolutely. And I have to say that sandwich sounds a lot like the Thanksgiving sandwich at Earl of Sandwich.
Sure does.
So if you need a little taste of that, maybe it's not quite as good because Jolly Holiday is scrumptious as the day is long.
Yeah, I feel like the Jolly Holiday sandwich might be a little bit more classier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't care and you just want to throw a mess in your mouth, that turkey sandwich at Earl of Sandwich is wonderful.
Yeah, I've had that. It's delicious.
Oof. It's so good. And you can get it all year round.
Good point.
So normally, Adam, we move on to anniversaries, but the Tweedledees will be thankful because they don't have to hear me talk about any anniversaries this week because there are none. 0 anniversaries.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting. I guess it makes sense because all of the big releases happen just before Christmas. And so why sort of dilute the ponds with more Disney movies when you just want that big blockbuster to rake in as much cash as possible?
Sure, that makes sense.
I may be wrong, though, but I combed through the Disney archives and I couldn't find anything, even the old random live-action movies that were released over this week. So if you Tweedledees can find one, please let me know and I will sorry about it next week. But as far as we know, no anniversaries this week.
But speaking of next week, Patrick,
yes?
We need to put a call out to all of our listeners. Next week's episode will be featuring a special segment called Questions and Peter Pantsers. We've done it before. We're doing it again, and we thought it'd be a great way to kick off 2020.
Hooray!
So for next week's episode, please send us your questions. They can be questions about visiting a Disney park. They can be questions about Disney movies. They can be questions about me and Patrick.
Ooh.
Let's get into it.
Let's get deep dived inside of each other. That sentence got away from me.
Yeah, it sure did.
Okay.
It sure did.
I'm going to resolve to not do that anymore.
Short story long, we're looking for questions. Questions from you, our listeners. So feel free to send us your questions. You can do so by reaching out to us on our social media accounts. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
And of course, you can leave us an email or a voice memo at info@gazedothed.com. All this back and forth through time, Adam, let's stay put for 1 second.
Okay.
Because it's time to reveal our winner from last week's giveaway.
I'm so excited.
So there'll be this week's winner. So we're staying put on today.
Okay.
No day but today.
Wow. You are jumping in and out of musicals?
Put me on Broadway, won't you?
No.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't recall, last week we announced our giveaway of a Haunted Mansion Seance Circle diorama kit that Adam picked up on his last trip to Walt Disney World, and a Mickey and Minnie Christmas pin set that I picked up on my last trip to Walt Disney World.
Yes.
And we also, last week, I mentioned, it looks like they're holding candy canes as golf clubs, and they are. But Adam, if you look at it closely, if you connect the two, the candy canes will make a heart.
Oh, barf.
How adorable is that?
That's freaking adorable.
I know. I like that you barfed at that, though. That's real telling. So what do you say we announce that winner?
Let's do that.
All right. This is going to be our last drum roll of 2019, Adam.
Maybe it should be our last drum roll of all time because I do not enjoy doing these.
Disagree.
Are you going to do it?
We're going to do it together on the count of 3. 1.
Everybody take your earbuds out of your ears.
2, 3. That was a really good one.
It sounded like the beginning of The Lion King on Broadway.
Well, that's another Broadway reference for us today. Count them up. That's 3. That's 3 Broadway references so far today. All right. So the winner is Lindsay, spelled with an S-E-A. So was it Lindsay or Lindsay?
I don't know.
Lindsay.
I don't know.
Hey, Lindsay. Let us know how to pronounce your names. We want to get it accurate, of course. But Lindsay can be found on Instagram at Disney Feels with 3 E's.
Disney Feels.
I have so many questions about the letters that you use in your names. Lindsay Feels, Disney Feels.
Congratulations, Lindsay Feels.
I went down a rabbit hole there of vowels, didn't I? Congratulations, Lindsay at Disney Fields. We will, of course, be reaching out to you post haste so we can send you these lovely gifts. Congratulations.
And now it's time to move on, Patrick, to our first giveaway of 2020.
So exciting.
Actually, it straddles years, doesn't it?
It does. It's doing a spread eagle over the years.
We announced the giveaway in 2019, and we announced the winner in 2020.
It's true. And it should be noted, this is a giveaway not from us this time.
That's right.
Tell the folks what we're talking about.
So we have partnered with Mario from Diamond in the Rough Clothing, and we were fortunate enough to meet Mario when we visited Disneyland in October.
It's true. He is a delight.
We were there for Gay Days, and you can hear all about our trip on episode 57. So as I said, we've partnered with Mario from Diamond in the Rough Clothing, and to celebrate the company reaching 1,200 followers on Instagram,
Ooh.
Diamond in the Rough Clothing is giving away your choice of either its Roger Rabbit satin bomber jacket in red or its Madame Leota gray hoodie. Both items are sample size medium.
They are really delightful. I've had my eye on that Roger Rabbit bomber for so long.
Yeah, you've been talking about it for a long time.
I know. I need it.
Yeah, but let's go back to your resolution when you were going to buy. Okay.
I'll buy it this year, so it doesn't count toward next year.
Smart.
Okay.
You can get it in just under the wire, Patrick.
That's right.
So, how do you enter to win? You need to follow both Diamond in the Rough Clothing, which on Instagram is at Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co., and us at GDTD Podcast. And you need to like the post featuring the images of the Roger Rabbit satin bomber and the Madame Leota gray hoodie, and tag 3 of your Disney-loving friends in separate comments underneath the post, and you're entered to win. So it's different than how we normally do it. You need to post 1 comment for each friend. To receive an extra entry, repost our post or add it to your stories and tag at Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co. and at GDTD Podcast. We will be accepting entries until 6 o'clock p.m. on Friday, January 3rd. The winner will be contacted via DM shortly after that and announced on our Monday, January 6th episode, as well as on Diamond in the Rough Clothing and our Instagram accounts. International entries are welcome. That's also different, Patrick.
Ooh.
But international entries will be responsible for shipping if selected as the winner.
Interesting.
This giveaway is in no way affiliated or sponsored by Disney or Instagram.
Look at you with the disclaimers. Got it. So again, pay close attention to those rules, folks, because we do check on if you are following our account and Diamond in the Rough Clothing Co.'s account. So don't do a follow and then unfollow right away because we will find you. And that's a direct threat. You know who you are. I've seen you.
Is that one of your resolutions too? Threaten more.
To follow through with threats. That's my
good.
resolution.
Good. We also should wish Mario congratulations on his 1,200 followers on Instagram. That's fantastic.
Congratulations, Mario. Well deserved.
And good luck to all who enter.
Speaking of entering things, Adam.
Oh, where is this going?
What do you say we enter into some news? Some tight stories.
Okay.
What?
Come on. There's another resolution for you.
What's that?
Let's avoid awkward innuendos in 2020.
I don't think I've ever done one. Will you point one out when I do one? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that we're creating a spin-off podcast called Patrick's Awkward Sexual Innuendos.
Those are going to be like 3 hours long.
Correct.
Each episode.
Last Monday, December 23rd, Walt Disney World bought itself a little last-minute Christmas present in the form of 235 acres of land just west of Disney's Oak Trail Golf Course.
Ooh.
The Orlando Business Journal reported that Compass Rose Corporation, one of Disney's companies, bought the land for $6 million from Lake Reedy LLC. Disney hasn't commented on the land purchase or what the land could potentially be used for, but a theory is that the land was purchased to mitigate commercial development from other companies. We previously reported last January that Disney purchased 1,575 acres in Osceola County for $11 million, and in December 2018, Disney acquired 965 acres for $23 million from BK Ranch.
Burger King Ranch, right?
I think at that time we clarified that it was not, in fact, Burger King Ranch.
Oh, and then they switched over and turned it into Burger King Ranch.
That's right.
Got it.
Yep.
Compass Rose, that sounds like a Schitt's Creek company.
It does. It does.
Interesting.
All these subsidiaries of Disney. Who knew?
Who knew indeed? Who knew?
Patrick, why are they buying all this land? The thought was the land that was purchased in 2018 and then earlier this year was to kind of mitigate environmental issues that the parks might create.
Sure.
And then this one, now that they had just purchased, again, was to kind of stop development around the parks. Is that really the reasons why this land is being purchased?
Who knows? I know a lot of like boxed retailers do that. Like a Walmart or a Target will purchase some land next to them just so the other competitor won't buy it.
Okay.
So it does happen a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason, but Disney always has some tricks up its sleeve. It could just be also that they intend to use it for something down the road, like another wind turbine or something. That's a very boring answer, but it's a sex park, Adam. Each year, Disney Performing Arts holds a competitive music festival called Festival Disney, bringing in hundreds of schools to compete in a plethora of categories. This year, for the first time, students now have a chance to compete in a virtual competition for groups with 9 performers or less called Festival Disney Solo and Small Ensemble Virtual Competition.
Say that 5 times fast.
I can't even wrap my mind around it. It's too many. It's too many words that don't really go together.
Yeah.
But they kind of do.
Yeah.
Categories for this new competition include band, strings, and choral. Middle school and high school performers will be judged separately. Each performer will receive an exclusive medal for participating, and the highest-rated performers within each division and category will be presented with a Distinguished Performance Medal during the awards ceremony. Information about Festival Disney and how to apply can be found at disneyyouth.com.
I have 2 things to say, Patrick.
Great.
Number 1, I love anything that promotes the arts because the arts are dwindling in public schools.
Absolutely.
And number 2, I love opportunities for middle school and high school students to explore themselves creatively. And now that I think that was not the way to say that.
That was a terribly worded
sentence. I hope all of you know what I mean, because I participated in the arts in high school, and it practically saved my life. I mean, it was my only opportunity to really express myself.
Yes. And I celebrate any opportunity to pit kids against each other. That's all I'm in it for.
This is like a musical version of the Hunger Games.
Yes. At the end of it, they use their saxophones and flutes as weapons.
Okay.
Woodwinds, attack! That's all I want to hear.
The poor woodwinds. They're not going to survive.
No.
I think you'd want to be like a tuba. A tuba's going to do some damage.
Yeah, and you're probably strong enough to carry that tuba.
Good point.
Thank you so much. Did you play an instrument in high school, Adam?
I played the trombone for about 2 weeks.
You did?
Yeah.
That does not surprise me by any stretch of the imagination.
I could play Circle in the Sand on the trombone.
You could not.
That was the one song I could play, Circle in the Sand.
That's amazing. Belinda Carlisle?
Yeah.
Fun fact, that was my very first concert at the Minnesota State Fair.
This is why we're friends.
This is why we're gay.
The holidays are coming to a close, and the magic of the season is dwindling. And you may think, all is lost. But Ryan Reynolds and Jon Favreau are here to save the day, Patrick.
Oh.
2 straight white dudes are going to save us.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Last Friday, Ryan Reynolds appearing on a holiday edition of Live with Kelly and Ryan, which just sounds like a nightmare.
But lovely to watch.
Yeah, I guess they're all very attractive. Just don't talk. Ryan Reynolds can talk.
Okay.
Anyway, he confirmed that Deadpool 3 is in development at Marvel, stating, "We're working on it right now with the whole team. We're over at Marvel, which is the big leagues all of a sudden. It's kind of crazy."
I suppose when he started doing his movies, they weren't as gigantic as they are now.
And they weren't at Marvel.
Oh, that's true.
They were Fox films.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is a big deal. According to a December 27th Variety article, Emma Watts, Fox Films' former president of production, who had a considerable role in the first two films, will not continue to oversee the franchise, insiders familiar with the project said. That same day, The Mandalorian showrunner and creator Jon Favreau tweeted that Season 2 of the Disney Plus phenomenon will be returning this fall 2020. Baby Yoda be praised.
Hooray!
Favreau also tweeted an image of a Gamorrean, which Variety noted was a pig lizard species which guarded Jabba the Hutt in earlier Star Wars films. Remember them in Return of the Jedi?
I do, yeah.
I had an action figure of one.
Yeah, they had that underbite with the tooth.
Yep.
With the teeth.
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
The image hinted that Season 2 might explore their native planet of Gamor, or perhaps even venture into Jabba's palace on Tatooine.
Interesting. That could be a whole sort of Downton Abbey inside of Jabba's palace, don't you think?
Well, there is upstairs.
Yeah.
And then there's downstairs where the Rancor monster
Absolutely.
is kept.
That's what I mean. That'd be wonderful.
By the way, just as an aside,
Yes.
have you finished The Mandalorian?
I have.
What did you think of Chapter 8?
I mean, are you ready to use the bleep a lot? Because what the I really loved that show.
Yeah.
And it left me with some blue balls, Adam. It left me with some blue balls.
In a good way, though, right? Or not?
It ended on too much of a cliffhanger for me, I feel like.
Oh, see, they're setting up the whole series now. It's like...
I know, but I'm like, well, I have to wait now. I
until
hate that.
fall?
Yeah, I can't.
Come on, you used to watch Game of Thrones, which was like 3 years between seasons.
That's fair. It was still good. I liked it. I'm not used to these cliffhangers that you actually have to wait for a long time to see the resolve to.
Sure.
And I am spoiled.
What a hard life you
I
lead.
know. What did you think?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I thought Chapter 8 was phenomenal. Giancarlo Esposito is phenomenal.
He should always play the character he's playing.
He did in Breaking Bad, basically, too, right?
Absolutely. And he was freaking terrifying.
The very quiet. Quiet is always scarier than someone shouting.
Quiet, yet you know in those eyes, he will snap at any minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's going to snap.
he's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully that didn't spoil too much for you folks. But if you're not watching The Mandalorian, what are you doing?
Speaking of snapping at any moment.
What on earth?
Oh,
What on Tatooine?
remember the mental health
okay.
resolution?
Breathe in for 4. Adam, now that the new year is coming, I've got some eviction notices to serve
Oh.
to some characters in Epcot.
Oh, my.
Buckle up, here we go.
Where is this going?
Yep. This January 5th, the Character Spot location in Innoventions West in Epcot will be closing, which will scatter most of the character meet and greets throughout the park. Here's where to find them. Well, most of them.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, folks. Mickey Mouse will greet guests in the queue area of Disney Pixar Short Film Festival in the Imagination Pavilion. Minnie Mouse will greet guests in the World Showcase gazebo, pushing out Daisy, who will then move to Future World East. Yep.
Sorry, Daisy.
Sorry about it, Daisy. You got kicked out. And Goofy will greet guests in the main entrance near Spaceship Earth, either kicking out or in addition to Pluto.
Yeah, I was going to say that's normally where Pluto is.
It's true, and sometimes Daisy's there as well, but sorry about it, folks. Be better at your jobs, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Daisy's now located in the former Starbucks construction site.
Daisy's at a bar somewhere in Epcot drinking. Let's be very clear about that. So Joy from Inside Out will now meet guests in the Imagination Pavilion near Wreck-It Ralph in the ImageWorks area. Unfortunately, Sadness and Baymax have been evicted from the park until further notice. They know what they did.
You're kicking out Sadness.
Well, listen, they got a little drunk.
She needs support. Now she needs all of our support.
They were not up to date on their rent. And they got kicked out.
I never got to meet Baymax. Like hugging a cloud, I would imagine.
Like hugging a pillow and a cloud and the wind at the same time. He's amazing. So no date has been set yet for new permanent character spot locations in the park, and no word on who will make the cut for Epcot meet and greets once those new spots are in place. Everyone is looking at each other with some side eye.
For sure.
They're spilling necklace beads on the ground to see who will fall over.
I mean, Disney Plus, here's your new reality competition.
It's a real showgirls situation right now.
Yeah, who's going to survive the refurb of Epcot?
Absolutely. Do you think they all have to reapply for their jobs? They have to go through a full audition process. Hi, my name is Mickey Mouse. You may remember me from
creating this company.
And I've prepared on my own from Les Miserables. And a 1 and a 2.
Long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,
It's so sexy.
two gay dudes gave their spoiler-free review of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Pew, 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 pew.
Slow crawl. Adam and Patrick returned from the Galactic Empire. Anyway.
How epic. How epic are we? Get some visuals in there, please.
So, Patrick,
Yes, Adam.
we had the privilege of catching a screening
Yes.
of a little art house film called Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker last week.
It's true. It was only out for one day in the theaters.
Yes.
And we snagged tickets.
Thank goodness.
Thank the stars.
And as with any major Disney release and Lucasfilm release,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it on the podcast.
We are. We sure are. We're going to reveal all the secrets, starting with, here's how it ends. JK, JK, JK. Of course, we are going to do our very best to tiptoe around any spoilers for all of you, because I know many of you have not seen it yet and probably won't for a little bit. And this is a delicate movie that a lot of people want to not know anything about. So just stop listening now if you haven't seen it, I guess, is what we're saying.
Don't you dare stop listening.
Don't you ever stop listening to us. We are going to give a spoiler-free review. So we are going to give our thoughts on the movie, which may reveal
Our thoughts?
which will reveal our thoughts. But it could accidentally reveal some plot points, but we are going to be very careful not to give you any spoilers or very jump-out secrets of the movie, right?
Jump out, pop out, secrets, surprise secrets.
Surprise secrets, undercover secrets, secrets of the NIM.
This is the film of our lifetimes.
Yeah, really and truly.
This is the end of a cinematic legacy. I mean, I don't want to make it too dramatic, but
Too late for
too
that.
late for that.
Yeah. It was pretty emotional, I have to say, when that first sort of musical interlude came on, the classic Star Wars theme.
Yeah.
I teared up a little bit, I have to say. It's literally the end of an era.
Now let's rip it apart.
Great, let's tear it down.
Yep.
And expose it for what it is.
Now, before we dive into the creative team and then the cast of the film, let's kind of give our overarching feelings for the end of the saga.
Oh, okay.
Patrick,
Uh-oh, I want to start?
you are starting. How did you feel about this film overall?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was not my favorite of the Star Wars movies. Not even my favorite of the last 3 of the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
I just thought it wasn't quite as tight as I wanted it to be. I'll say that. It ended wonderfully, I think. They really capped it off and sent it off in the way that they should have, I think. I thought it was a little sloppier than I had anticipated, if that makes sense.
Sure.
There were a lot of storylines that I thought got resolved too quickly. There were a lot of leaps they expected us to take with them that didn't feel earned to me.
Sure.
That being said, it was a wonderful Star Wars movie. It was a great film and deservedly in the top of the box office right now.
I really liked it as well. I thought it was incredibly entertaining. And I think this actually was my favorite of the last 3 films.
Interesting.
I'd have to go back and watch The Force Awakens again just to make sure that statement is true.
Okay.
I like a nice, snappy, let's wrap this up. Like, let's wrap this up. And I liked how it was heavy on the drama and really moved. This film moved.
It did.
I was not aware of the time while I was watching it.
Yeah.
And suddenly it was over. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it clipped along quite well, that's for sure.
And I really love a strong villain in a film. And the first two films were kind of lacking in that regard for me. Like, Kylo's a villain, yeah, but I mean, he's kind of a brat too.
And you're not sure where he's going to land as well.
Right.
They kind of set it up that way.
Right. And I may be giving out a spoiler here. So if anybody wants to fast forward just like 15 seconds, go for it.
But this is nothing that was not revealed in the trailers so far.
Right. Okay. Palpatine is in the movie in
Yes.
some way.
Yeah.
Palpatine is involved in the story.
Right.
And he is the biggest bad of the Star Wars universe. And I'm glad that he was back.
Sure, sort of the ultimate villain is involved.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So creepy, so scary.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I thought they handled that character quite well. They could have really destroyed his evil integrity, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
And they didn't, which was great.
Yeah. If anything, he was creepier than he was in the original trilogy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, so before we dive into the creative team behind the film, let's talk about its budget. Let's talk about kind of where it's standing with audiences versus critics. And then we'll talk about where it's at the box office.
I like it. So to start off, the estimated budget for this movie was $200 million, which seems about right.
That's the same budget as this podcast. Per episode.
There it is. So the opening weekend in North America numbers rolled in at $176 million, and then opening day in the United States was $32 million. When you compare it to Jumanji, which had the same opening day, I believe, only raked in $12.5 million, and Little Women only raked in $6 million. And I say only, those are pretty big numbers for these movies, but that far surpassed both of those movies.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you never, ever, ever again compare Star Wars to Jumanji?
I mean, we never will again.
Thank you.
Yeah. It'll literally never happen again.
It might. It might.
Fair enough.
Just going back to the opening weekend for a second, Patrick, it actually fell short of expectations, or industry expectations anyway, because it was believed that it was going to make $195 million domestically.
Yes, I believe it fell short of the last two Star Wars movies, which was surprising to industry standards right now.
And to me.
And to you.
As of this recording, the film has earned $259 million domestically and $516 million internationally. Deadline is reporting that industry sources are forecasting that by Sunday, that's the night before this podcast drops, the J.J. Abrams directed movie will hit $380.9 million, pacing 3% ahead of Last Jedi at the same point in time.
Interesting. So they're thinking it's going to pick up some speed then.
Yeah, it kind of did great numbers on Christmas Day. And so it's kind of catching up to where The Last Jedi was at this point in time 2 years ago.
Okay.
So how are audiences and then critics reacting to it?
So let's dig into Rotten Tomatoes right now. They have it standing firm at a 58% score, which is not wonderful for a Star Wars movie.
And that's combining audience and critic scores?
It is.
Okay.
And if you compare it to Force Awakens, that is standing at a 93% score, and The Last Jedi at a 91%. That is a little bleak compared to the last scores of the last two movies.
I'm kind of surprised that The Last Jedi is better received than this film. Not necessarily because The Last Jedi wasn't a good film, but just because of all the backlash it seemed to get from fans.
Sure. Well, let's move into the cinema score then, which is giving it a B+, making it the only Star Wars film from Disney to receive less than an A.
Wow.
Here's what I think is going on here. It's really hard to wrap up a franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
And so many people are going to be upset no matter what you do.
Right.
And so I think it will be judged harsher and more critically than the other films because they had more breathing room. And this one, it's the last one, and people had such expectations for it, you're just never going to reach them.
I also read an article that compared it to The Return of the Jedi, and people responded very negatively to The Return of the Jedi.
Still do to this day.
But I think since time has passed, people have started to revere that film more and recognize it as a stronger film than it was upon its release.
Especially when you release a movie like that after such a wonderful film like The Empire Strikes Back,
right,
which I think has the highest ratings of any Star Wars film.
It better.
It's just hard to compare the two. And so when you have a movie like that and then you follow it up with a movie that's just as good but just a little bit more kitschy and cartoony than The Empire Strikes Back, it's of course going to receive harsher rankings.
Sure.
Of course, these are just our opinions, folks, but they are correct.
Moving on to the creative team behind Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
As I mentioned before, the director is J.J. Abrams, who directed The Force Awakens and returns for this film.
That's right. I believe this makes him only the second director within a Star Wars franchise movie to direct 2 films.
How do you feel our buddy J.J. did?
I thought he did a wonderful job. I really enjoy his interpretation of the Star Wars world. I think he pays it great respect and homage.
Yeah.
And I think he's just a very creative person in general, and I like his storytelling clip, if that makes sense.
Sure. I would agree with that. I feel like he has more of a George Lucas vision for the films in how they look, anyway. I think his sense of storytelling is much better. Am I going to get slapped for that?
No, I would agree with you.
Okay. I think Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi had more kind of visual panache and took a leap further away from the look of classic Star Wars films.
Sure.
But JJ really does kind of give the fans that classic Star Wars visual storytelling.
Yeah, he has a good mix of old school versus new school storytelling.
The screenplay for The Rise of Skywalker was written by Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams, with a story by Derek Connolly, Colin Trevorrow, Chris Terrio, J.J. Abrams, and based on the characters obviously created by George Lucas.
Chris Terrio's resume makes me laugh because he was involved with writing Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, and Argo. What an interesting mix.
What does Ben Affleck have on this guy?
Good point.
He only does films with Ben Affleck in them. And was Ben Affleck a cameo in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and we didn't realize it?
He was probably a stormtrooper at some point. And then, of course, we would be remiss if we didn't mention music by John Williams, who did all of the Star Wars movies and Harry Potter and Jurassic Park, Home Alone, Indiana Jones, Jaws. Weird. And my very favorite movie, E.T.
And we should mention he has a Blink and You'll Miss It cameo in the film.
Oh, that's right.
The music in the film is the music from all of the films.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he's gone back and sampled music from all of the films and done it in a tremendous way. I mean, this guy's a genius when it comes to scoring films, obviously.
Right.
But the music is definitely a character in this film, and it really does drive the picture, it drives the story, and helps create some of the most emotional moments in the movie.
Absolutely. He is a genius at taking these classic themes and just twisting them emotionally so that they make sense for this movie versus the last movie. It's really wonderful work that he does.
In particular, what stood out to me the most in this film was Kylo's theme and how it's kind of manipulated throughout the story.
I hope people really start paying attention to John Williams.
I know.
Finally.
I know.
Finally. Give the man a break, won't you?
He's earned it. So let's dive into the cast and let's let this kind of facilitate our conversation about the film overall.
Let's please. So are we going through the cast in billing order?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're starting with Carrie Fisher.
Great.
Who returns as Leia Organa. And as everyone knows, Carrie Fisher passed away prior to the making of this film. So her entire performance is produced through archive footage.
It's true.
From, I believe, the first 2 films.
I think so, yeah. They used a technique called rotoscoping, which is basically using her archived footage and removing all of the background and then placing her into a new scene.
How successful was that for you?
It looked great. Like, I didn't have any issues with that, and rightfully so. Like, if they had messed that up, then they would have been dragged through the streets.
Right.
But I did notice that they definitely carved some dialogue around what they had her saying, basically.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel sloppy necessarily, but it didn't feel as necessary as they felt it needed to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel like they could have pared down her character a little bit more, and I would have been fine with it.
I agree.
Instead of having to use as much as they possibly could, which is what it felt like they were doing.
Right.
Sort of to pay respect to Carrie Fisher, maybe. I don't really know, but it felt unnecessary to me.
I agree with that. It felt like as the movie went on, we didn't need to see her as much. It seemed like she was saying less and less as the movie went on. And it was relying on characters around her to be like, General Organa is feeling sad,
Yes.
as opposed to the character herself expressing that.
Right. There was a lot of sort of soap opera cuts where you would just see her dialogue and then they would fully cut to the next frame, which is the character's reaction to what she's saying.
Yeah.
It felt a little out of place for me.
I thought visually it looked very believable.
Yeah.
Her face seemed to be lit in a different way, and it was because it was from a different film.
Yes.
But that to me kind of stood out. Like, it was clearly her. And it was, like I said, believable, but that just kind of stood out to me a little bit, the lighting on her face.
Yeah, it almost looked like they added a glow around
It
her.
It did.
So that was interesting.
But overall, I will say it was a nice way to send off her character, her performance in the final film, and then her story arc in the final film as well.
Yeah, they wrapped up her character nicely.
Next up, we have Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Does not have a huge role in this film.
I was just thinking, is it a spoiler that we say that he's in the movie? But no, you can find that anywhere. And he did announce prior to the movie being released that he would have a part in the movie.
Right.
In fact, I think he was contractually obligated to do all 3 movies.
Probably.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was going to have a bigger role in this film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was glad that he didn't.
Me too. Yeah.
But I didn't think that he would. I think they knew not to. Mark Hamill's Mark Hamill. He's wonderful.
He is.
He does what he does. He does Luke Skywalker like no one else can do, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just never overly impressed by him.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm going to get hate mail for that, but...
I found his dialogue to be awkward. I felt like they were trying to make jokes that weren't landing, and I felt like it happened in a scene that maybe didn't need jokes.
I felt that way throughout the film, I think. That there
Oh,
were
really?
a lot of jokes that I just didn't need for this story.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I felt like it was like, oh, here's how we lighten it up with a cute character and a joke. And it just was like, I don't need it. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't Maleficent gross. With the creatures and the jokes.
That's the scale now.
That is the scale. On a Maleficent scale, where are we sitting here? No, it was fine. It was fine. But also, I mean, I don't see Mark Hamill as a comedian, so
Sure.
it's possible that he just couldn't pull off the humor. I think he tends to go a little clowny sometimes when they give him a joke.
It was weird when he tried to pull out his lightsaber and it was a rubber chicken. Why did that have to happen?
And then he did it again and it was flowers.
Right.
And then a tube of lipstick. It was strange.
They really just beat that horse.
They sure did.
They sure did. Returning to the films, no surprise to anyone, Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, and Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron.
All of those names. Love them. I just love them. I want them to do a reverse Three's Company. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, why not?
2 guys, a girl, and a pizza place. I don't know. Let's give them another vehicle because they are magic on screen together.
And they all look fantastic.
Yes,
if you're going to be superficial, and I am.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite, Oscar Isaac or John Boyega?
John Boyega.
Me too.
Yeah.
He's mine. Get out.
Oh, he's so handsome.
I call dibs.
And I want to kiss his lips. I've said that before on the podcast, and I stand behind it.
I want to kiss much more than his lips at him. No, he is a beautiful man. He has a lovely interview in the newest installment of the D23 Gold membership magazine. It's great. He talks about how it was tough for him to remember that he has to play younger because he has aged much since his first movie, and the characters haven't aged that much. And so he was often told by J.J. Abrams to fin it up a little bit and act a little younger.
We have to give credit where credit is due to Daisy Ridley because she came into this an unknown, relative unknown.
Yeah.
And on top of that, she was a female lead in a Star Wars film, like the central figure in the Star Wars universe in these 3 films. And she completely killed it, in my opinion. Like, she is Rey.
Yeah.
And she delivered on all levels, dramatically, comedically, in the trilogy of the last 3 films.
She is wonderful to watch, and it's so fun to see a female, strong character in the Star Wars world and just think, all these little girls finally have someone that they can look up to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's every girl's dream, I feel like, to have that kind of a role in the world, and she just delivered on all levels, like you said.
And it's also so important for little boys to see that.
Yes.
Right? Like, to see that this is a strong woman who is taking charge and who also is unsure at times and, struggling against great adversity, but really has the courage to kind of fight through that.
It was interesting in this film to see her sort of live the respect that she earned in the first 2 films.
That's a great point, yeah.
When she's amongst all the other characters, there's sort of a reverence around her that is really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to see her come into her own Jedi powers in this movie. Like, she's at peak Rey, right, in this movie. And it's fun to see all the other characters kind of acknowledge that and realize that she's a very powerful, strong character in this film.
Absolutely.
And Oscar Isaac.
I mean,
he's great.
What a delight.
He's a delight. He's Matthew's favorite.
He is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I have to say, there is a storyline, and you will understand it when you see it in the movie, that I just didn't love around him. And that's his relation to the new character that's in the movie. I didn't buy it. at all. It felt very forced, no pun intended.
Sure.
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Was that because you had expectations of where his story might go?
We can talk about that later.
Okay.
I know where you're going with that. That is definitely part of it, but it felt very out of the blue and unnecessary to the storyline.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments, like I said before, there were so many things happening that didn't need to happen.
Sure.
And that was one of them for me. That whole storyline could have been cut, and I would have been fine.
Adam Driver returns as Kylo Ren.
He sure does.
Again, credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Adam Driver, or I should say, casting Adam Driver as Kylo Ren was one of the smartest things that J.J. Abrams ever did, because this role in the wrong hands would have been terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Adam Driver really kind of brought some gravitas to the character. And I almost want to say it made it smaller than it needed to be. I mean, yeah, there were those moments where like he freaked out in The Force Awakens and had his little tantrums. But there's so many small, really wonderful moments that Adam Driver brings to the character.
Yes, he is teaching a class on film on how to sort of manipulate your emotions without moving his face even. It's something interesting about him that I really like to watch. I've heard, though, some stories that he might be a little bit of a nightmare on set.
I totally believe that.
And I think I'm fine with it because he's earned it in these films.
He does feel like this generation's Brando, kind of, doesn't he? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Like that kind of...
The brooding.
Yeah. Just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, don't be mean to other people necessarily, but if you're sort of just a standoffish kind of a person, that's fine. Do what you need to do.
And if you see me on the street, say hi, Adam Driver. Come up and say hi.
Take that top off and say hello.
You know who I am. Also returning to the film, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
Yes.
Who delivers a lot of the yucks in the film.
Yeah, it was very clear that they brought him along for some comedy relief in this very dramatic and heavy movie, where I kept thinking, why are they bringing him with on this journey? None of the characters seem to really care about him or respect him anymore right now, and so why are they bringing him with on this journey? And the only answer I could think of was because they needed some laughs. Not the characters, but the movie.
And because he had something very important in his memory.
He did. But they could have gotten there with a different storyline. I don't know.
It's true. I think the reason he was included in kind of our main group of characters was because of the original trilogy. Like, they wanted to show the connection.
Sure.
And they wanted to have that kind of tie-in to those films.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense. A fun fact is Anthony Daniels is the only actor to be in all 9 of the films.
All of them.
All 9. Well done, Anthony Daniels.
Now take a break. Like, take a nap.
Sit down, Anthony. Rest a spell.
He probably couldn't sit down in the C-3PO outfit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let the man sit. Domhnall Gleeson returns as General Hux.
He is a very attractive man.
Oh, you think so?
I do think so. When he's not in this character, in general on the street, he's a handsome ginger.
Okay.
The cheese stands alone.
I've never thought about it before, actually.
I didn't know, and I looked this up on IMDb. He played Bill Weasley in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Well, he's on the ride at Universal Studios.
And I think that's how I dug into it, because I saw that on his credits come up first.
Oh, sure.
And then I dug in, and I was like, oh yeah, he did play Bill Weasley in those movies. Well done. I think just in the Deathly Hallows, though, because he was older than the other characters were.
And a new First Order baddie joins the film, and that's Richard E. Grant, who plays General Pride.
Yes, he was wonderful in this movie.
He really was. He's kind of a perfect fit for a Star Wars villain.
Yes.
Because he has a British accent, let's face it. And usually the villains have a British accent. But he does have that kind of Star Wars look of a villain about him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a fantastic actor on top of that.
Yeah, he is the most British actor of all British actors right now.
Yes.
Game of Thrones, Downton Abbey, Gosford Park. I mean, come on, man.
I'm probably going to butcher this, but Joonas Suotamo
okay.
returns as Chewbacca.
Yes, he is also a very attractive man.
He's so tall.
Oh boy.
He's so tall.
He is very tall and very blonde and very like Ken doll-like.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Joonas.
He's also covered in fur. Few people know the fact that he's actually not wearing a Chewbacca suit.
No, he is part Wookiee.
Everything from the neck down he's just hirsute. Is that what it's called when you're just covered in hair? Yeah, that's what he is.
Oh, that makes me just cough on an imaginary hair in my throat.
Typecasting.
Okay.
Yeah. Also returning to the film, Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico.
Yes, I like her so much. I wish that they had given her a larger role in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think there's so much to cover that you can't give everyone their due in one film.
As some of you may or may not know, she received some horrible kind of fanboy backlash from her role in The Last Jedi.
About what?
I can't say specifically. A lot of it could be racism.
Oh, dear.
A lot of it could be that she's a woman. I mean, I don't understand fully why there was that backlash.
I was going to say, is it just too many women on screen for these idiots? Ugh, so stupid.
And her role is greatly diminished in The Rise of Skywalker.
Not because of that, though, we should say. Hopefully not, anyways.
Hopefully
Who
not.
knows?
Yeah.
I think she's wonderful.
She's not my favorite actress. I just need to say that.
Okay.
I don't think she's a strong actress.
Were you one of these fanboys writing in?
I was not.
Okay.
I was not.
Okay.
And while I obviously don't agree with all of the negativity that was kind of thrust her way for her performance in The Last Jedi, I just feel like her story arc completed in The Last Jedi and that her character should have died at the end of The Last Jedi. I mean, she kind of...
Oh, wow.
No, she sacrifices herself.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course I do.
But she ends up surviving. And I'm just like, it would have been a much stronger choice, I feel like, to let that character just have that arc in that movie. And it felt even more unnecessary now than seeing her in this film where they just didn't have anything for her to do.
I see what you're saying. I can, yeah. I hear you, but I disagree. I like having her around. I think she adds a sweetness to the movie and to all the characters who are very, not always lighthearted and affable, where I think she adds a nice juxtaposition of being very delicate and aggressive at the same time. I really enjoy that. I like watching her. So I hear what you're saying, though.
A new addition to the cast, Carrie Russell appears as Zori Bliss.
She does. She does appear.
Now, see, I liked her in the film.
I didn't dislike her in the film. I thought she was just very unnecessary to this storyline. I want her maybe to have a Disney Plus television show.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
And that's where I hope it's going.
But I dislike that it seemed like they were using this moment in the movie to do that. The Mandalorian didn't need to be a character in another movie. They just made a character.
Right.
They should have just done this with her because I think it threw off the story for me.
I agree with the fact that her storyline could have been fleshed out a bit more, or that they could have made her more of an integral part of the plot.
Yeah.
But I do like her character a lot, and I liked her involvement in the film. I just wanted it to be a bit stronger, but I do get that Disney Plus television show possibly coming vibe from it.
I just didn't know what she served in the movie. What did they do with her in this movie that they couldn't have done without her in the movie?
She was your Rose Tico for me.
Fair enough. For this movie, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for this movie.
Yeah, in the last movie, Rose Tico had a very integral part.
She did, and then she should have died, yes.
But Zori Bliss didn't do anything. I mean, she did some, but she didn't do enough that she needed to be a full character in the movie.
Except that she introduced us to the most important character in the film.
Oh, boy.
Babu Freak.
Okay.
So cute. Come on.
Yeah.
She took them to Babu Freak.
I hated that character.
Oh, I love him.
Which surprises me because you usually hate that kind of a use of a character.
Yeah, but this one worked. It worked for me.
It was funny and it was fine. It was just a teaspoon too much for me.
Oh, no, more. I want more.
Got it.
So you're like Team Baby Yoda over cuteness? Is it Baby Yoda over Babu Freak?
100%.
Oh, I don't know.
That is shocking to me. For real, that shocks me that you say that.
He's so cute.
And he is. I just, again, just didn't need him. I don't know.
To me, that felt like Star Wars, like a successful, smaller character that serves a purpose, that is a puppet. Like, I love that addition. And you got to remember, like, this movie can't just serve adults. It has to serve kids, too, right?
Oh, of course. I understand all of that.
Yeah. This is like what Star Wars is. It's that element. It's not a Jar Jar Binks element where it's annoying to all. It's like a cute little moment with a cute little character like that.
I don't disagree with you. Just to be clear, I get it. I totally understand that. I think because there were so many moments like that in the movie that it maybe was oversaturation for me. And I was just annoyed at that point at another cute character popping up.
What were the other cute characters? I'm asking sincerely. I can't remember.
Just like random cameos of little cute things that were happening here and there. And then, of course, the new droid that was supposed to be a cute character.
Oh, Dio, yeah.
So, I don't know. It just felt a little bit, like I said, a teaspoon too much. I didn't hate it. I just didn't need it.
Do you also feel Dio was unnecessary, too?
I actually liked that character.
Okay, good. Oh, we can still be friends. I love Dio. Another new addition to the film, Naomi Aki, who plays Janna.
Now, this character in the opposite way that I didn't enjoy Zori Bliss, I enjoyed this character, even though I knew what they were doing.
Right.
Setting up a TV show.
Are they setting up a TV show for her?
She almost had a line that was like...
See you on Disney Plus.
Exactly. It was almost like, there are many of us and we have many stories to tell, or something like that. I was like,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
But I was here for it because I want that. I want that show to happen for sure. But I think I was so intrigued by her background, and I believed the storyline. It didn't come out of nowhere necessarily for me.
Yeah.
That I enjoyed this character and all the other characters that surrounded her.
Yeah, I really liked her. We can't really talk about her character too much.
Exactly.
But there is this kind of like tribal settler type element to that group of people. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And brings a fun kind of juxtaposition to all of the technical elements in the film because they're very kind of low tech in that regard.
Yeah, it was something we had never seen from a character in Star Wars before, sort of a land-based, grounded character. It was really lovely to watch.
I mean, the Jawas.
Yeah, but they're heightened because they don't speak English and they're, you know what I mean? They're definitely alien.
Yeah.
You just wanted to do an impression of a Jawa.
I've been sitting on that.
Got it. On a Jawa? You've been sitting on a Jawa? Oh, dear.
Also returning to the film, Lupita Nyong'o as Maz Kanata.
I love her. I love Lupita and I love Maz. They're so great.
Fantastic. And one of the OG Star Wars characters returns to the franchise, Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian.
Such a classic character. I'm so glad they were able to incorporate him in this last film.
Yes. I'm not sure he was necessary, but yes, I liked seeing him. I just felt like he was kind of wedged in there as like, remember this guy? Because he didn't really advance the plot at all, did he?
Well. Look who's talking about characters not advancing the plot now.
Yeah. Did he? I mean, did he?
No, not really, but neither did Zori Bliss, and you loved her.
She took them to Babu Freak.
Okay. Oh, boy. No, I mean, it was just another a moment that they needed to give the fans, I think, of this wonderful classic character coming back and having basically a cameo in the movie, which is kind of what Star Wars does. It's very self-referential anyways.
It's true.
So I thought it was successful. They didn't overuse him.
I'm just not sure he knew he was there.
Oh, that's not nice.
He seemed kind of like, I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. I either wanted like more of a story for him or to him just not be involved in the film.
Got it.
It's Lando, but he didn't seem like Lando. Something was missing. I mean, he's old. There. His youth is missing.
You went on a real journey there with Lando.
Yeah, I did.
So that kind of rounds out the main characters in the movie, at least people who had like more than 3 lines in the film. There were, of course, many, many other actors who made cameo appearances and had a little bit of a storyline, but I feel like if we talked about them, they might give away too much in the movie, and they weren't necessarily plot points in the movie as well. So it sounds like you and I both liked the movie, but pulled different things from the movie that we enjoyed, which seems to be what's going on across the nation right now. People liked it, didn't necessarily overly love it, though. Whereas you are more on the side of you probably loved it more than I did.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it more than I loved it.
Yeah, I still can't get to like loved it.
Okay.
But I haven't loved episodes 7 or 8 either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I actually really liked those movies a lot.
I really like them too. I just don't love them.
Oh, got it.
But this one was the most successful for me because it felt like a bigger adventure. It felt like the stakes were higher. I mean, they were obviously higher. This is the final film of the 3 and of all the episodes. And I liked how dramatic / melodramatic it was. Like, I don't feel like it was trying to be anything more than it was, which was like this great kind of space epic story that delivered a major villain and felt very dark at times and also very light and also nostalgic. So it kind of really encompassed all those things that I want in a Star Wars film.
I would agree that of these last 3 films, it felt most like the original concept of a spaghetti western set in space, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And that was sort of the original concept that George Lucas had when he was pitching the very first Star Wars. And so I think, yeah, it absolutely did that. Again, I didn't love all of the plot points, and I think that there were too many things for me going on that were resolved too quickly or just didn't need to be resolved, or I don't know what. I almost felt like at times we could have used a 10th film to stretch out some of these new storylines they were introducing into this saga.
Sure.
And I would have been fine with that. I didn't need it to be a nice round 9. I could have used a 10th film, and maybe they're going to use Disney Plus to give us some more of those storylines that they are going to tease out that they introduced within this movie. But it felt to me like it cheapened the original reason why we were there to see this movie, is to see the Skywalker saga come to an end.
So you would have preferred like the Rise of Skywalker Part 1 and Part 2 situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have totally been fine with that, and then gotten these more fleshed out storylines and plot points.
I get what you're saying about, trying to get a lot into one film.
And it's tough. I totally understand. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to close out.
Yeah.
Especially something that has been 30 years in the making. As we said previously, not everybody is going to be 100% pleased with the movie, as we are discovering on this episode right now.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure.
The big reveal in the film, the big reveal they've been teasing since The Force Awakens, was where does Rey come from?
Oh, yeah.
And we do learn that in this film.
I thought you were going somewhere very different with this.
A wig reveal?
Yes, exactly.
But we do find out Rey's lineage.
Yes.
What did you think about that reveal? Was it satisfactory to you, or were you thinking it was going to be heading in a different direction?
At first, I was annoyed by it.
Okay.
And then it pulled me in, and then I was satisfied at the end of the movie. What about you?
I was not annoyed by it, but I do feel like it was a bit rushed. I would have preferred kind of a deeper exploration of that reveal, maybe in a flashback situation, or maybe not in a flashback even, but just kind of like more of a discussion about it.
Yeah.
And it does kind of surprise you in a very pivotal moment in the film, not unlike The Empire Strikes Back, right? I just feel like it wasn't given enough weight or enough time or enough focus in the film.
Yeah.
I wanted more in that direction.
I fully agree with everything you're saying.
Plus, I need to say this because my brother's a huge Star Wars fan / nerd. And for months and months, he's been feeding me potential ideas of where Rey could have come from or how the reveal will happen. And the upside is that he's pitched me wonderful ideas of where things could have gone.
Yeah.
The downside is that some of the ideas he's pitched to me
were better than
the reveal in the film.
Yeah.
And so I thought he might actually be correct in some instances, like, oh, of course that's going to be it. And it wasn't the case. And while I was satisfied with what we were told eventually, I will say some of the ideas that Alex had were so creative and fantastic. And like, I just wish that they had explored those options. But the reveal that we did experience in the film was satisfactory to both of us anyway, eventually, and made for a very compelling ending. I will say that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the ending, there's one LGBTQ elephant in the room that we need to address.
It's more of a mouse than an elephant.
A gnat, would you say?
Yeah.
Again, this would be the most minor spoiler ever.
It's not a spoiler,
if we're
folks.
ever to deliver a spoiler, but there is a same-sex kiss in the film.
There is.
Between two women. One of the characters was introduced in The Last Jedi in a very minor role, and she returns for this film, and at the end, the two women kiss, and you see it on the screen for a split second.
Like, not even a full second.
How did you feel about that?
I didn't. It did not register with me. How very dare anyone say that there's an LGBT moment in the film and then give us that?
Yeah.
That's upsetting. Like, in a world that we are believing in aliens of all kinds, genders of all kinds, races of all kinds, galaxies beyond galaxies beyond galaxies, and there's not one character in the forefront that could have been gay. Disappointing. 30 years has taught cinema nothing.
Particularly when it's been hinted at so heavily.
Yes.
And whether that's our fault or the writer's fault or the director's fault of the first two films, who's to say? The actor's fault, who's to say? The chemistry between them, who's to say? It didn't even need to be them, quite honestly, but there was this expectation that someone in the core group of characters would reveal themselves to be a member of the LGBTQ community.
I don't think we need to dance around this. I think it's no surprise that people thought that there was a romance potentially happening between Finn and Poe.
In fact, Oscar Isaac in an interview actually said that would be very intriguing to him to pursue that kind of element in the story.
Yeah, in another interview, he said he was disappointed that it wasn't the case in some small way. I was hinting at this earlier. It was very off-putting to me that they had his character hitting on a woman during this movie.
Yeah, that didn't need to happen.
It was never part of his character in any form, and it almost felt like they were saying, no, he's not gay.
Right.
Here's how much he's not gay.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, we get it. Fine, he's not gay. We don't need to make him hit on a woman aggressively during this movie. It was upsetting almost to me.
So in a December 2019 Variety article called What's Keeping Hollywood from Meaningful LGBTQ Representation in Blockbuster Movies Like Star Wars, two writers, Adam B. Vary and Brent Lang, kind of explore what we're talking about right now. And the article is quoted as saying, when Abrams first signed on to co-write and direct 2015's Star Wars The Force Awakens, he deliberately sought to cast actors who looked more the way the world does than not. Both Abrams and The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson lived up to that aspiration, casting multiple people of color in prominent roles, including John Boyega's Finn and Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico, and significantly increasing the number of women on screen who drive the story, first among them Daisy Ridley's Rey. In the same vein, Abrams said that in the case of the LGBTQ community, it was important to me that people who go to see this movie feel that they're being represented in the film. Technically, as we said, there is an unambiguous LGBTQ representation in The Rise of Skywalker, but neither Abrams nor Johnson ever wrote a prominent LGBTQ role in a Star Wars movie. And Patrick, this is really fascinating, and something that I just learned researching The Rise of Skywalker. Disney has been particularly negligent with LGBTQ characters in its films. It was the only major studio in 2018 to have zero queer representation, according to GLAAD, and this year has scarcely been any better. So basically what this article is saying is that Disney's been hinting at LGBTQ characters for a couple of years now, right? But there's never been a significant character that's truly been the focus of a story that's LGBTQ.
In fact, I believe there is a queer test, not unlike the Bechdel test. I believe, what is it called? The Vito Russo test?
That's right.
That sort of has a standard for LGBTQ plus characters in a movie and whether or not they are represented enough, in that they're not like a one-line character, or they are basically overtly a gay character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't believe Disney has ever passed that test. Now, it should be noted that in 2020, we will have the Eternals coming to the cinema with an openly gay character in the movie. So we'll see what they do with that character.
That's an interesting point, too, because I think there's a fear with the legacy of Star Wars that doesn't necessarily exist with the Marvel characters.
For sure.
And I think that fear kind of permeated the new trilogy and won out and failed to deliver, a prominent LGBTQ character for us.
It's very unfortunate. And to quote Yoda, fear leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Now do it in his voice.
No, I'm not going
to
disservice Yoda like that. Yeah, it's unfortunate and it needs to be addressed, and that's sort of why we're doing this podcast, right? Is that there is a loud and clear LGBTQ plus voice within Disney, and it needs to be matched by its fans from Disney.
Right.
It's time we start demanding it, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to sell Pride merch in your parks and make $1 off of us, you need to start representing us more in your movies. Sorry about it, Disney. You burnt.
We're not sorry about it. We're not sorry.
So before we move on and sort of wrap up this segment, Adam, I have a few fun facts to talk about with this new movie.
Yes.
In the movie, there is a celebration happening on a planet that they go to, and C-3PO says that it happens every 42 years, which incidentally is the amount of time between the original Star Wars and Rise of Skywalker.
How about that?
How fascinating. Well done. Another fun fact is that Carrie Fisher received top billing for this film, making her the only woman to receive top billing in a Skywalker Saga movie. Which is surprising because Daisy Ridley is such a major character.
Yeah.
And in The Force Awakens, Harrison Ford received top billing, while Daisy Ridley was 5th on the billing mark.
Now, I have a question about that.
Okay.
Do you think that was negotiated in his contract that he would receive top billing, or do you feel like they felt like they just owed it to him?
I don't know how they make those decisions.
Yeah.
If it's out of respect for an older actor who's making a comeback in this film, or if it's negotiated in, like you said, contracts. Either way, shame on you.
Shame on who? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, did Harrison Ford know or did Harrison Ford not know? Because I have to believe if Harrison Ford knew, he'd be like, no, guys, don't do this. But maybe I'm wrong about him.
Well, let's be clear. She received 5th billing.
So ridiculous.
So that's 4 mistakes in a row.
And it wasn't even like an introducing situation because she was
Right.
already established.
Correct.
Gross.
Okay, so then the next film, The Last Jedi,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill received top billing, and Daisy Ridley was 4th.
Come on.
In this movie, she was also 4th.
Oh, that's so gross.
Isn't it? It's really sad.
I didn't even notice that. That's really upsetting.
You're right. It's upsetting.
And I have to believe wherever she is, Carrie Fisher would not have been like, yeah, I'll take top billing.
Mm-hmm.
She would not, but I understand that at least.
Right.
But come on, Daisy Ridley is like the new Luke. She deserves top billing.
Yeah, she ran all 3 of those movies, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but it's a little sad.
Yeah.
Moving on to something happier.
Thank God.
In the fun facts, is that Billie Lourd, who you may remember from, she was in all 3 of these newest films. She was also in Scream Queens. She is Carrie Fisher's daughter as well. She was 26 when she filmed this movie, which is exactly how old Carrie Fisher was when she filmed Return of the Jedi.
That is fascinating.
Isn't that weird how the world works sometimes?
Yeah.
Well done, world. You did it. And that's all I have for fun facts. Here are some unfun facts. Just kidding.
We're going to talk about Zori Bliss for the next half hour.
Yeah, well, I guess top billing was an unfun fact.
Well, just kind of looking ahead at like what's next for live action Star Wars now.
Yeah.
In a December 15th, the Los Angeles Times article kind of teasing Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy's franchise plans, it states, while the Skywalker saga is ending, the company won't abandon the characters created in the most recent trilogy. I think that's a very interesting statement to make. What does that mean? Does it mean the characters like Janna and Zori Bliss, does that mean characters like that are going to move forward in Disney Plus? Or does it mean we're going to see more of Rey and Poe and Finn?
Hopefully all of the above, for my money.
We should also mention that The Mandalorian obviously just wrapped season 1 and season 2 is coming in fall 2020, as we talked about in the news. The next Star Wars feature film is supposed to be released in 2022. Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series with Ewan McGregor and its Cassian Andor series with Diego Luna are coming down the pike. And The Last Jedi writer and director Rian Johnson and Marvel Studios president and chief creative officer Kevin Feige are both developing projects for Lucasfilm. So there's a lot going on in the future, but we have yet to kind of learn what the new feature in 2022 is going to be about.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to discover where they go with this. I just read recently, and I don't know how true it is or if he's going to stick to his guns, but John Williams did say that he was anticipating The Rise of Skywalker to be his final project with Star Wars.
I heard that too.
So that will be fascinating. It'll be weird to see a Star Wars film without his touch on it, although I'm sure that the rights to all of those theme songs can still be used. It just won't have his sort of mark on it.
Right. It's really reassuring, though. Like we saw Rogue One, which wasn't composed by John Williams.
That's true,
right?
yeah.
And even The Mandalorian has had fantastic music behind it, right? And really something we hadn't heard in a Star Wars film before. So it's kind of really reassuring to see that kind of branching out and to hear how Star Wars can sound differently regarding the score.
Yeah, it'll be his time to pass the baton, as it were.
Absolutely. Well, Patrick, we're not completely aligned on this film.
We sure aren't. I almost slapped you a few times. I still may.
But at least I think we can both say we're satisfied with this kind of wrap-up of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, for sure.
And although we had different perspectives on the film, I think it's also safe to say that we were both entertained by the film and are looking forward to seeing where we go next in the kind of Star Wars galaxy.
Absolutely. It didn't leave me wanting or needing more out of the Skywalker saga, but it did leave me hungry for more Star Wars.
Well, as important and weighty and meaningful as our opinions are on this film, Patrick, we did have some Tweedledees reach out to us with their thoughts on the film.
We sure did. Let's dive in. First off, we have Kelvin on Instagram, Kelvin in Wonderland, saying, loved the new Star Wars. If there were anyone I'd re-watch, it would be this one. So much energy and build-up with the storyline. Also, amazing CGI improvements.
That's absolutely right. The CGI was incredible in this film.
Oh, for sure.
And the use of practical things, too, like puppets, right? Like, that was really strong in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob, who you can find on Instagram at RBNeil and Zippity Doodah Days, said, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would say I loved it, but I have no real complaints. There are a few moments that elicited a hearty eye roll, but I could excuse those. For me, it's the characters that I enjoy most about Star Wars, not necessarily the plot. And I got a lot of good time with the characters I love. Most especially, there was a lot of good moments with my favorite character, C-3PO. And did you see the Anthony Daniels cameo? There was only one moment in the film between Kylo Ren and Rey very near the end that I think was a wrong choice. Other than that, I was never bored, and I thought for a film often called a space opera, the finale was sufficiently dramatic and operatic. I'm happy. You know, we didn't talk about that moment, quote unquote, between Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Rob, and I agree with you. I didn't need it. It left a bad taste in my mouth, but what are you going to do?
I feel the same way.
We have Derek writing in on Instagram, boy who has everything.
Sang.
Just back from Star Wars. Oh man, all the emotions. Even as a very casual fan, this film really moved me and I felt the heaviness that it carried. The theme of choosing to embrace your family and your heritage or finding your own path was so well done. And the little gay moment at the end was a nice cherry on top. So curious to hear your thoughts, especially since I've been fairly indifferent with the franchise most of my life, so I'd appreciate an actual fan's perspective. Well, hopefully we just gave you a 3-hour review. Hopefully that was sufficient.
Justin, who you can find on Instagram at JMCarth1, said, okay, so we all loved Rise of Skywalker. Our viewing had a standing ovation. Wow. There were so many moments that called back to the original trilogy, but one moment towards the end really broke me down to tears. Most people that I know have missed it. I won't spoil it here, but I hope everyone caught it. I hope everyone gives the movie a chance, and I can't wait to see it again. Message me if anyone wants to talk about Rise of Skywalker spoilers.
Oh.
So again, message Justin at JMCarth1.
That's so funny. Last but not least, we have Kale, who you may remember as Carnegie Kale on Instagram at KaleEnglish89, writes in with a very thoughtful response saying, more Oscar Isaac. I mean,
yeah,
that really wraps it all up, don't you
think? It puts everything we said to shame. We should have just said that and have been done with it.
Just leave it there. Well done, Carnegie Kale.
Thank you so much, Kelvin, Rob, Derek, Justin, and Kale for your thoughts. And if any other Tweedledees out there would like to send us their thoughts on The Rise of Skywalker, they can do so by reaching out to us on social media at GDTD Podcast.
Or leave us a voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com.
Patrick, I'm so proud of us for not bringing up the fact that Rey is...
Oh, shoot.
Or what about when Rey and Kylo...
What about when...
Oh, that moment, I seriously started bawling.
Yeah, that was a really rough moment, and then it wasn't.
Right. Kind of a letdown, wasn't it? Like, you're like, oh, they went there, but then they didn't go there.
See, that's what I mean. Those kind of things bothered me in this
I get
movie.
that. I get that, yeah.
So you see that I'm right now. Yep, he's nodding, everybody.
No,
he's nodding along.
I'm not nodding.
He's writing on a piece of paper. Patrick's opinions were correct. Mine were wrong. Hey, Adam. What?
There was a 1 to 2 second moment. I mean, thank you, John Williams, for making such a recognizable cinematic musical moment. But for those first few seconds, I was like, what the heck is going on? Why are you singing it like that? But now I get it. Thank you.
I curated that just for you, Adam. Hey, Adam.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Adam. Little Princess Leia theme for your nerves.
That is not my ringtone on my phone.
Only when I call. It's just me going, hey, Adam. Hey, Adam.
Yep. That's my ringtone.
Amazing. Guess what time it is, Adam? After all that, it's time for a drink, I think.
Time for a drink. Yeah. No, it's quick tea time, of course.
It is quick D time. And what better way to celebrate the end of a saga
yeah.
than with the beginning of a new saga called Quick D Star Wars.
The end of the saga, are you referring to our review, our 12-hour review of
I am.
Rise of Skywalker?
I am. That was more of a hero's journey than it was anything else.
Yeah. Oof. But we got through it.
We did. We did get through it, and no one got scratched. Until now.
Uh-oh.
Here's what I'm talking about.
What?
We are doing Quick D Thunderdome Star Wars edition.
Oh my gosh. Star Wars fits so well into Thunderdome if you think about it.
Clearly.
Like, you could see Star Wars being a part of a Thunderdome situation.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't done this before. No, I'm not. We're not very smart.
We're not.
Or
We're
quick
not.
to the draw.
Nope, we're not.
So here's what we're talking about with Quick D Thunderdome. 2 options go into the Thunderdome.
Right.
1 can remain.
One survives.
1 survives.
You've all
and
seen Mad
leaves.
Max Beyond Thunderdome, right?
Everyone obviously has seen that movie.
Yes. Only one person or thing is going to leave that Thunderdome. The other is just a bloody mess on the sands.
I'm going to believe that 3% of our listeners have seen Mad Max. And that may be a high number.
It's got Mel Gibson and Tina Turner.
Yeah, that turns off half of our audience. So we're left with very, very few.
Oh, okay. Well, check it out sometime.
Fair enough, fair enough. And so when we say Star Wars, we mean anything in the Star Wars world.
Right.
Choose two things to
Galaxy?
enter.
Don't you mean galaxy, Patrick?
Wow. I'm going to put you in the Thunderdome and see what
Okay.
happens.
All right. I regret it.
Yeah, you should. Okay, so anything in the Star Wars galaxy, Adam,
thank you.
can go into the Thunderdome. Only one can survive. Adam, you go first.
Rude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I will.
okay.
Since you're so attracted to General Hux, I'm going to throw General Hux in the Thunderdome.
How very dare you?
And I'm going to throw Finn into the Thunderdome, your two loves.
Why would you do this to me?
Because I like to walk purse first into a situation and create drama.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Bob the Drag Queen. I think it seems clear that Finn is the winner here.
Yeah.
I think it seems very clear.
Yeah.
Those lips, man.
Is he using the lips to win?
He's going to kiss his way out of that Thunderdome. You know what I mean? He's gonna kiss him to death.
Yeah.
I will have front row seats to this Thunderdome.
Uh-huh.
Until they're just going to make out until one of them dies.
Yeah, and I would imagine that jacket would only encumber him, so he'd probably pop that off.
He'd pop off that top.
Yeah, and Hux is probably going to rip his shirt off at some point when he's trying to grab him. Yeah.
And oops, there go his pants.
Oh, what happened there? You grabbed
dear.
them. You
Yeah.
grabbed his pants right off.
Who knew he had a lightsaber? That's not a lightsaber.
All right, so Finn's your boy.
Yeah, in so many ways. Actually, to be correct, I'm his boy.
Oh my.
Yup.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, bye, Hux.
Bye. Sorry about it. And give me that mouth, Finn. Give me that mouth.
There's more to him than a mouth.
I don't need more than that, Adam.
Come on. Yeah, you do.
I'm a man of simple pleasures.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Yeah, it's true. The whole package.
Yep, I know what you mean.
The whole galaxy. So that's my answer. Would you agree with me, Adam?
I would.
Okay.
I love Finn. I think he's so attractive and...
What an easy Thunderdome that was.
It was.
Okay.
Too easy.
Too easy. Let's make it a little more difficult. Let's stir the pot a little bit.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yes.
Adam, I'm throwing Rogue One, the film,
Yeah.
into the mix.
Yeah.
Along with Rise of Skywalker. Only one can survive. The other one has been burned for no one to ever see again. Which do you choose?
I think it will come as a surprise to no one that Rogue One is going to bash The Rise of Skywalker to bits.
Oh, that came as a surprise to me.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
To itty bitty bits. I love Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite of all the Star Wars movies of all time. Like,
so I made this easy for you.
original trilogy, yeah, prequels. I mean, prequels, get out of here. But I love Rogue One because, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, but that is the ultimate sacrifice, right? Like, I mean, they all, spoiler alert, die,
Yeah. Yeah.
to get the plans to Princess Leia. And so that's really meaningful to me. Like, I got so emotional watching that movie.
Yeah.
I loved Rogue One.
Well, I gave up a piece of cake once to give it to somebody else, Adam. And,
Same.
And that was...
You're right.
That was at least as
You're
much of
right.
a sacrifice.
What am I thinking? You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So you're welcome to your opinion.
Did you like Rogue One?
No, Adam. I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it.
Was that your favorite of all the movies, or did you have another favorite? Like, Empire Strikes Back is obviously great. I get it. It's so great. But Rogue One to me was just like next level. And again, that sacrifice is so meaningful. And it had a great villain too.
Yeah, I loved Rogue One. It's at least up there for me in my favorites.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know if it is my very favorite, but it's definitely, I hold that movie in high respect. And it drowned, burned, and tore apart Rise of Skywalker in the Thunderdome.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It forced it into submission. And then burned it alive.
Wow.
Like Aunt Peru.
Yeah. Oh, Luke, come drink your blue milk.
Wow, this has been a real easy Thunderdome for us.
It has so far. All right, Patrick. I'm going to throw in two more characters because
They're more fun to watch die.
they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw C-3PO and R2-D2 into the Thunderdome.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
That feels more meaningful. Which droid is going to die?
C-3PO. Bye. Knock his head off. Just kidding. I love them both. Let's be clear before we get any hate mail. R2-D2 is going to win that battle, though. 100%.
Okay.
R2-D2 is just much more lovable.
Is this just because he can't talk back in English?
That is part of it.
Okay.
And he's very slow to get away.
Yeah.
And that bodes well with me.
Yeah.
I need people who are slow on the getaway
Yeah.
and slow on the words as well.
I agree with your choice, actually. I'm going to say that because 3PO can be a bit of a know-it-all, right? A little annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I'd say of us, you are the C-3PO of the pair.
Because of my height.
And I'm the R2-D2. So, yup.
Also, R2-D2 always has that great little scream almost in every movie.
Yes.
I love that little, whenever he gets like electrocuted or so cute.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, terrible things are happening to him, but it's adorable.
And he's full of secrets as well.
He is. He is. You're right. And so are you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You have at least 5 of my secrets stored inside you.
At least. Here's one of them. All right, Adam. Jar Jar Binks or the Star Wars Christmas special? Which one gets to survive? And why? Yeah, it's a real think piece, this one is.
It's not. I'm just trying to find a way to convey my hatred for Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
And how brutal his death will be. He will be killed. His arms and limbs will be torn from his body.
My goodness, this got dark.
And they will be used to decorate the cantina in the Star Wars Christmas special because that is the winner, the clear winner.
What a real beautiful ending you've created. I like that.
I'm at peace,
Yeah,
Patrick.
yeah.
Thank you for delivering this level of peace to me.
You're so welcome.
In being able to verbally assault Jar Jar Binks.
Got it.
And rid him from this universe.
So the Star Wars Christmas special was less of a disaster than Jar Jar Binks for you.
It's a beautiful disaster, like the Madonna song. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really bad, but it's so great.
Isn't that a Kelly Clarkson song?
Is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, Beautiful Stranger is the Madonna song.
Well,
I'm
you can't be
thinking
gay
of.
anymore.
That just proves that pop song titles are Mad Libs, right? Like you just pick a couple of random words. Beautiful Stranger, beautiful disaster.
It's a hit.
Yeah, it is a Kelly Clarkson song, which might be playing inside the cantina
Oh, I like that.
during the Star Wars Christmas special.
Well played.
Or being sung by B. Arthur.
Oh, I like that idea. Yeah, I'd agree with you. In fact, I think B. Arthur is going to come
Yes.
into the Thunderdome.
Back from the grave. She's going to crawl out of her grave.
Yeah, she's going to rip one of his arms out and beat him to death with his own arm. I think that's what happens.
She's going to say, Shady Pines, Jar Jar Binks.
Absolutely.
Pines.
She's going to take one of his eyes out and make him watch himself be beat to death
Yeah.
with his own arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually the way I would want to go.
I can make that happen.
B. Arthur, please, if wherever you are, that's how I want to cross the Rainbow Bridge.
Are you a pet? Isn't that only for pets?
No, it's for Vikings.
The Rainbow Bridge?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like a pet eulogy.
I think it's for whoever wants to like pass on to the next plane.
Mine's going to be more of a garbage bridge.
Yeah.
That's just more of a slide down into you know where.
It's going to be all of those things that you've purchased at Disney World and
no.
Disneyland that you thought you needed.
Oh my gosh.
And you're just going to slide down those.
This is a real Christmas Carol ending for me, isn't it?
That will do it for this episode of Gaze Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gazedothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gaze Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gazedothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.